Hello everybody and welcome. This is Adrian. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's my time for some Victory 2 with HFM as the Empire of Brazil in our tutorial series. So last we left off, we are very much on our way to being a secondary power. I think we have to wait just a little longer and we will be... Ooh, looks like people are not paying their debts. We will be a great power very, very soon. So we were considering attacking Argentina. We're gonna work on some more military tech, but we will definitely consider attacking Argentina. I'm not so sure what we'll do quite yet. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Maybe an attack would be nice to kind of chip away at Argentina's power a little bit. Yeah. Oh, we'll see. A lot of people here in South America are not paying their debts, so we may have the opportunity to declare some wars as well for some more reparations. For now, I think we'll just keep maintaining our prestige and our industrial power and our military power. We're at 91% literacy. We also... Okay, so now we're great power. Now we're great power. Let's go and take a look real quick. We have a special decision, Provincia Cisplatina. We get cores on Montevideo, Paysandú, Melo, and Tacurembo. Okay, so we get 10 infamy for that, though. Okay. Let's see. Natural borders. As a Paraná River is another natural southern border in Brazil, is natural for such a great country to conquer Entre Rios. Oh, check this out. Cool. So it looks like this river here, it looks like they want to make this river as our... Oh, okay, cool. So we can rename Uruguay to the province of Cisplatina. We're going to get some prestige from that. And then we can actually take this decision and we actually get cores on Entre Rios. That is cool. So that's what happens when we become a great power. Is usually you have like some special decisions and stuff that'll kind of pop up and that's cool. Okay, so that means definitely a war against Argentina is going to be in the works. We will likely be battling, I think almost for sure we're going to be battling some Americans, I think. What's his military tech right now? He's at 22 out of 30, so we're going to need to get a little more stronger for this. But that's pretty cool. Okay, so we are a great power now. See, membership in the International Olympic Committee. The combination of renewed interest in ancient Greek civilization and the idea of sport as an important part of social development has led to a French aristocrat, Baron Pierre de Coubertin, to propose reviving the Olympic Games. Cool, we will absolutely do this. We're going to lose 10,000 pounds. We're going to revive the Olympics. Militant socialists have enforced demands on Peru. Okay, so there's a new regime in Peru. They have the Partido Socialista in charge. They also lose their alliance. Any alliance, when you have a revolution, you lose any alliances and things that you used to have. Okay, so now we're great power. So now I want to walk you guys through a little bit about great power mechanics. There's a few things you can do. Is one, you can add people to your sphere of influence. So, as you guys remember before, we used to be in the British sphere of influence. No longer are we, because we are now a great power of our own. You can actually click this sphere of influence map mode, which is the hotkey F. You can actually see who is in what sphere of influence. The United States has a big bonus to getting people in the spheres of influence over here in the Western world, or in the Western hemisphere. So right now, as you can see, Peru, Ecuador, Venezuela, and Paraguay are not in anybody's sphere of influence. So we're going to try and do that ourselves. So let's take a look here at Paraguay. And all you have to do is you have to come over here to what they call priority. It's called Prio for short. You just right click on Paraguay and you'll, as soon as you're a great power, it'll bring up a screen that looks like this. And I can actually come over here to priority and this will put a certain amount of diplomatic influence into influencing Paraguay. As you can see from the tooltip here, this is kind of the clout that we have with this country. It allows us to influence their internal affairs. It allows us to protect them. It allows us to, you know, eventually we can sphere Paraguay and our country is going to get access to their resources, their domestically produced goods. So, for instance, they have some tropical wood, they have some fish, some fruit, a little bit of wool here, and a little bit of wood. So we're going to get before anybody else in the world, we will get access to Paraguay's goods if it is that they are in our sphere of influence. So we're going to influence Paraguay. We're going to set a priority to high. As you guys can see here from this tooltip, we're going to gain 0.803 influence in Paraguay each day, which is pretty fast. Because we're neighboring them, we get plus 50% to this generation. Our relations, because we have minus 76 relations with them, affects us by minus 38.4%. And then the more score you have relative to theirs will also influence how much clout you have, your influence generation. So right now he's got 26 total score, whereas we have like way more than that. We have like almost 1,000 score combined, right? It's these combined. So awesome. So we can influence Paraguay. We're going to also influence a couple other people that have had some revolutions. Like Peru just had a revolution right now, so they're not being influenced by anybody. Let's go for Peru. Ecuador as well. You can actually check from the Great Powers list to see who's trying to influence these guys. You can see that the British, the French, and the Americans are trying to influence these guys. And then Venezuela as well. Venezuela is likely being messed around with by the Brits and the Americans. So we're going to influence all of those guys and see what happens. So we'll try and we're basically competing with the United States for influence here. And it'll show up in your tooltip, actually, in your outliner. Let's see, where is it? So you can actually toggle it on and off, the influence view. So you can actually see who it is that we are influencing right now. So we actually have 35.6% influence with Paraguay and 35.7% with Venezuela. We don't have anything with Peru nor anything with Ecuador. Now, one of the things you can do as a great power is you can influence, and you can not only influence, but you can invest in other people's countries. So if I would come over here to the infrastructure map mode, E, I can actually build railroads in all these countries, all of them. I can actually come over here, and as long as you have the proper power for it, you have to have money for it, and you have to have the proper party. Sorry, not power, party. Our economic policy, state capitalism, allows us to invest in other people's countries. We can't open foreign factories, unfortunately. We can't open foreign factories, but we can invest in foreign railways. You can see here, way at the bottom, it says investors can build foreign railways. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to influence Venezuela. And the more you invest in a country, it not only improves your industrial score by influencing other people's countries, it improves your industrial score, but it also increases your clout with them, the more you invest in their countries. So actually, I think we're going to go ahead and just try and influence all of South America. Bolivia, Colombia, and then we can actually even start building stuff in those countries to try and get more political and economic clout within their borders. So it looks like the US has not done so, so we might as well just do so ourselves. Now we're about to attack Argentina, so I don't think we're going to do anything there. Let's see. We actually have fairly friendly relations with the United States, and so we may actually be able to maybe get an alliance with them. Who knows? So let's go on speed 4 for a little while. So we're going to be making some money. Colombia is doing some stuff to us. Bolivia is as well. So once you have enough influence with certain countries, you can do things in their own political sphere. So you could ban foreign embassies. You can discredit other countries' ambassadors. You know, things like that. For instance, let's come over here to Paraguay. So nobody else is influencing him. It's actually just us. So eventually, when we have enough influence, we can discredit another great power. We can expel the advisors of another great power. And then we can ban the embassy of another great power. So, you know, when you have an entrenched influential position with another country, there's really special things that you can do. Okay. So we're going to move all the armies that we have to the border with Argentina. We're going to be researching more military tech. I think we're going to get up to here. We're going to need all this military tech. I'd like to progress... Ooh. Nobel Prize in Literature. One of our illustrious authors has been awarded this year's Nobel Prize. We got 14 prestige from that. Wow. Well, we may actually come for some industrial or for some commercial tech, I think. But I actually really do want more industrial tech, and then I want to actually get some naval tech. That'd be pretty cool. So I'm not sure exactly what we'll do just yet. Venezuela is doing some stuff to us. Looks like the Empire of Japan is trying to influence Venezuela. Pretty cool. Okay. Let's actually go ahead and go on speed 5 for just a little bit. We're going to be waiting just a smidge. Let's keep upgrading our factories, making sure that our factories are doing good. Okay. So yeah, so now we have cores on Entre Rios. So we can declare war on Argentina for those cores. It would cost us 50 war score to take all that from Argentina. And because he's protected by the United States may intervene against us. Right? I could also potentially get an alliance with him, but we are actually allied to Britain. Since we are allied to Britain, the United States doesn't want an alliance. He doesn't want to get involved with that, you know? So, I don't know. Okay, so we got another military tech here. Let's go for some commercial tech real fast, and then I think we'll come back for the army techs. And then we will invade Argentina, I think sometime... I mean, I could do it now. The United States has better troops than we do, but... he does not have that much of a navy. He's only got a few ships. So even if he's going to try and influence us and try and stop us from attacking Argentina, he might not actually be able to get troops over here. So now we have enough influence with Paraguay to increase his opinion of us. So let's increase. So if I come over here, you see all these guys are hostile. Japan's opposed. We are neutral. So there's friendly, cordial, neutral, opposed, hostile. So if you want to get somebody in your sphere, you need them to be friendly to you. They have to be friendly. So looks like our small arms factories, machine parts are cost goes a little bit in subsidies. Okay. We can influence Venezuela. Let's go and increase opinion there. Now we are neutral with Venezuela. I think because we may be going to war pretty soon, we may want to... Wow, look at that. Peru just... He's getting a lot of immigration because of socialism. We might want, instead of craftsmen, we might to actually encourage soldiers for now. Let's take a look. How is our intellectuals doing? Since we're almost at 100% literacy, I don't think we need more intellectuals. Let's actually go ahead. Let's encourage soldiers, I think, a little bit. In some of our most populous states. Rio de Janeiro has 1.14 million people. It's a lot. Now, because of how expensive everything is, we're investing in investment banks right now to increase our tax efficiency a little bit, but we do have a lot of expenses. We have a lot of things that we're paying for. Cool. Settle orders. Let's see. Armies organization, shared prestige. We just got socialist realism. Wow. We gave us 25 prestige from that. Holy shit. Can you believe that? It's incredible. Okay. So how are these armies? Are these armies pretty good? Let's get one. Let's get 2 engineers here. Let's get like a couple of hussars. So these armies are pretty good. Like we're kind of ready for an invasion of Argentina. I think we would win pretty decisively, to be honest. He's got 19 regiments. He's got some war exhaustion. He's got a couple ships, and he's got less military tech than we do. So I think an invasion is in order. The question is when? When do we invade? I don't know. Apparently Spain is still a great power, which is crazy. He's actually 8th in the world. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know when we should go to war with Argentina. We're not going to call in the Brits. We're not going to call in the Brits to assist us. I don't think it's necessary. Once Great Wars come around, we may want to do that, but right now I don't think that's a good idea. This guy's a little bit of a lack of artillery, but it's not too bad. And we have really no navy to speak of at all. Okay, so we just got tax efficiency. Let's go a little bit for some more commercial tax, and then I think we'll come back for the army tax and perhaps invade Argentina. So let's just be at peace for just a little bit. As you can see, our capitalists are building some stuff. Let's see, what is it we produce? We produce coffee, fabric, fruit, tobacco, liquor. Okay, so we're doing pretty good there. These capitalists are trying to build a steel mill. So there's another tab here in production. I don't use this tab too much, but here you can invest and you can build foreign factories. So for instance, I can see my own country and which countries I've invested in. So we've invested in Venezuela, Chile, and Bolivia. We've invested this much money in each of those countries. Obviously, the United States has not invested actually anything in any of these countries. Interesting. Let's see. I could also take a look, say, the Netherlands. You can actually see Russia has poured in 309,000 pounds into the Netherlands trying to influence that country. You know, isn't that insane? That's insanity. So I could come over here and I could theoretically open some of these factories. You know, I could invest in this country. Chile, I could do that with. Bolivia, but the thing is we have a state capitalist party. So state capitalism, you can't really do that with you can't open foreign factories. You can't invest in foreign factories. You can invest in railways, but not factories. Let's see. Attend the 3rd Olympic Games. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Let's grab some more artillery, I think. Grab maybe a couple infantry. Let's see here. It looks like there's a crisis in Transylvania del Sud. Crisis over the return of Hungary's rightful territories. So a crisis is when, say, a country like Hungary has a bunch of cores. And somebody else controls cores. Right? So right now, we're looking at Transylvania del Sud. which is this right here, southern Transylvania. Hungary has cores here, and there's enough tension, as they call it tension. There's enough tension here in Transylvania des Sud for Hungary to spark up a crisis. Great powers can choose to take on that country's position. So Hungary right now is defended by the UK. The Germans are backing Romania because Romania is in the German sphere. The Hungarians are not in anybody's sphere, but obviously the Germans don't seem to have much of an interest in defending Hungary right now. So now there's a crisis. So all these different countries are going to start choosing sides. We don't really have a stake in the matter, but we could. We could choose to back someone, right? So Spain is going to back the Germans. Since we're allied with the UK, I'm going to go ahead and support the side of the Brits. We can influence Argentina right now. Let's increase his opinion. Okay. So we'll see what happens with this crisis. The Germans are really, really strong, but I think with this many powers backing Hungary, I think the Germans will probably give up. Now, it's possible they won't. It's actually possible that the Germans will say, you know what, we're going to fight this. We're going to fight a world war. This is how world wars basically start, is usually crises. Most of the time in the early game, crises don't really result in war, but in the later game, they actually usually do. Okay, so we got more commercial tech. Let's go for historical theory. Yeah, usually in the later game, because countries feel like they're so strong, you'll usually see wars break out. So perhaps, since the Germans have not surrendered quite yet, we may actually see a war break out. It's going to be Germany versus France, the UK, Brazil, and Russia, which is actually strangely historical. Okay, Bolivia. So we can increase our opinions with Bolivia and Peru. Argentina is allied with Bolivia. Bolivia is actually also allied with the United States, which is crazy. Factory cost, okay. We may actually see some war. Let's come over here to Chile. We can increase our opinion with Chile. So ideally, what we're going to do is we're going to get all these countries that are in the American sphere of influence. We're going to take them, and they're going to be in our sphere of influence. So perhaps this is doable. I'm not sure yet. Perhaps. Okay, looks like this crisis is actually going to result in a war. Okay. Let's see, Licensing Act. Okay, so we're at war. Let's see, Bulgaria has gone bankrupt. So British liberation of Transylvania des Sud. So we're at war with Romania, Spain, and the German Empire. And we're allied with Britain and Britain's dominions, the Russians, the Hungarians, and the French in the French Empire, the French Republic now. Ecuador would like an alliance. Having good relations with people that you're trying to influence increases your influence even more. So we're going to go and take that, actually. Looks like we have a special event. During the war, the Triple Alliance, or decision. When Paraguayan troops invaded the Brazilian province of Mato Grosso, Pedro II, the Brazilian emperor, angered by what he saw as incompetence on the part of the British military, demanded that he himself be allowed to go to the front. Ooh, cool. So we get 14 prestige for this. Cool. So the emperor will go to the front. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Apparently, if we have all of the Federal Republic of Central America in our sphere, we can actually reform the FRCA. That's pretty gnarly. Let's influence Paraguay. Okay, so the United States is not involved in this crisis. We are at war. Oh, we actually have cores here too against Bolivia. Oh, that's perfect. Awesome. So if we ever actually do go to war with Argentina, we can actually demand these cores as well. Cool. So we have cores here in the Bolivian Amazonas. We also have cores here in Entre Rios. Okay. And then we have a repay debt CB against Venezuela. Venezuela is protected by the Brits and by the Americans, so we could see those guys come after us. You know. Let's keep increasing relations with the Americans. I'm kind of curious to see if we attack Argentina and the Americans will not respond. Ooh, Great War. British liberation of Transylvania des Sud has become a Great War. Great War has been discovered. From now on, each war that includes at least 2 great countries on each side will get the status of a Great War. Okay. Cool. Let's go to Venezuela. Let's increase opinion with him. We're now cordial with Venezuela. So we're fighting the Germans. We're not really going to do much, obviously, in this war. There's nothing for us to do. Let's see, Colombia. We can increase relations there. Okay. How are we doing here? We can use more inventory. Okay, as you can see, our economy is, especially during wartime, because goods and services and things like that, you know, people don't buy as many goods when they're at war, people get drafted, all sorts of stuff can occur. Your factories can go kind of out of whack. So right now, where our machine parts factories and our small arms factories are not really profitable, even during wartime, they're even less profitable because men that work in factories and things like that get drafted, and so there's not as much of a need. There's not as many machine parts needed for the maintenance of factories. So perhaps the Germans will actually win this war. Who knows? Obviously, since we're over here in the Western Hemisphere, we're not going to be doing much. Let's increase relations with these guys. Let's also increase relations with the United States. Let's see if maybe if we can attack Argentina without United States intervention. It's possible. It's possible. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible. Okay. Very, very soon we will invade. Haiti defaults. Okay. At least for the meantime, let's go and raise taxes on the middle class, just because we are subsidizing these machine parts factories a little bit. We could get rid of these factories. We could get rid of the factories that are costing us a lot in subsidies. I'm not opposed to that. We'll keep the small arms factories, but maybe we should get rid of these machine parts factories. Maybe we do have a few too many. And those workers will go elsewhere. Let's go and upgrade these factories now. Yeah, the workers can go to other places of employment, I think. That would be a good idea. Let's see, ambassador has been insulted? I don't really want bad I don't want to attack the Russians, obviously, so we're just gonna go ahead and take this. We're gonna go ahead and back up a little bit. Let's see, the Netherlands, a war to end all wars. From now on, a great war that will allow a side that is clearly winning the ability to add even more war goals. We discovered fascism in Finland. We got avant-garde music. We got 25 prestige from that. Pretty cool. Okay. I think as soon as perhaps we have like 150 or 200 relations with the Americans, maybe we can declare the war. So far, it looks like the Germans are decimating our continental allies. Absolutely. Yeah, we're getting wrecked. Cool. See, modern design, we just got shared prestige, 25%. Nice. Venetian conquest of Emilia-Romagna. Holy shit! The Germans in the Republic of San Marco have invaded Italy. Are you kidding me? The peoples are... Oh, yeah. Looks like Italy is a proletarian dictatorship. So now Germany is at war with literally all of the world. They're actually winning. That is insanity, man. That's crazy. Although they have lost a lot of troops since the beginning of the war. They may actually start losing now. Germany's military tech is 25 out of 30. So that could be a huge, huge difference between defeat and victory for the Germans. Okay, looks like Egypt's been taken for Brits. That's cool. The Dutch took Heshmat Hejaz. Alright. Let's make sure our factories are looking good. Make sure we're upgrading all of our factories. So now, as you guys can see, really, because all of Europe is at war, we're making crap tons of money. Because our factories are now selling just tons and tons of goods that aren't affected by the war effort in the same way that Europe is. Europe is drafting their men, you know, their factories and their laborers and their farmers and things like that just aren't working as well. And once you occupy provinces, occupied provinces don't really produce anything, you know. So now we're doing very, very well in the let's see, let's move troops from Rio de Janeiro. Stop that focus there. Okay. Let's move this army. We'll move this army to Bolivia, I think. Yeah, up here. Yeah, we don't actually have a lot of supply limit up here. Okay, so we can invest some more in Chile if I wanted to. I think we're okay for now, but... Argentina, I think we were discredited in Argentina. So, when you get, like, discredited, things like that, or your ambassadors get banned, you can't influence countries for a time. It'll stop. So we can influence Peru and Paraguay. Okay. So right now, it looks like we are decisively losing. Alright. Let's take a look. I think we just lost the war. Oh, wow, yeah, the United Kingdom actually capitulated. So now we have what they call demobilization. So we got demobilized for a little while. I think we also, do we pay money? Yeah, we do pay money. We got a war indemnity as well. So that's unfortunate. Looks like the Brits did not win their war. And now we get the short end of the stick, but that's okay. I believe war indemnities only last 5 years. 10 years, actually, with the Germans. Interesting. Alright. Yes, we got demobilized a little bit. That's unfortunate. But we can actually raise more troops back again. Let's actually build just a ton of infantry. Let's get a couple engineers. A couple of SARs. A lot of artillery. Yeah, so we got demobilized because of the capitulation. Venezuela would like an alliance. Looks like they have socialists up there. I'm actually going to decline that one for now. Okay, let's work on our military tech right here. So we research things pretty quickly now. Pretty quickly. Karl Nies. Okay, Frederick List. Okay. All right. So we unfortunately did get demobilized because Britain, capitulated in the war. But, I'm actually not too concerned. Not too concerned about it. We can actually train a lot of troops right now. Let's see, Paraguay. All right, we'll get an alliance with Paraguay. That's fine. Let's come over here. Let's invest a little bit in Chile. Let's invest a little bit in Chile. Paraguay and Venezuela are looking pretty good. You don't necessarily want to ally all powers all the time because... Oh, it looks like we lost our navy too. Unfortunate. You don't always want to ally powers that you're trying to influence, because sometimes they declare offensive wars that aren't in your interest. So, you got to be careful about which alliances you take in this game. Overall, though, it looks like our factories are doing very, very well. Our economy is doing very well, actually. At some point, I'd like to boost administrative spending a little bit. Let's take a look at here. We should probably push for full citizenship, I think. So right now, the conservatives are likely to win. It looks like we actually have quite a few fascists right now. Yeah, the Integralist Party. Interesting. Okay, yeah, the conservatives are pretty popular. The socialists are not far behind, though. The socialists actually may win a majority of the vote. Very, very interesting indeed. Cool. I think right now the fascists, the reactionaries, and the conservatives should win a coalition government, but... Let's see, communist propaganda? Uh-oh. Crack down on that. Alright, so let's make sure we're just building tons of troops. We're going to want all these men for the armies. Beautiful. Spain wants alliance. I'm going to go ahead and I think decline. We're still allied with the Brits. Let's see, let's do decisive arguments for state capitalism to encourage people to be state capitalist. Coalition of conservative and reactionary parties got 43% of the vote. That's insane. Let's take a look here. Garcia Ortiz Mangabera Treaty. Ever since the Brazilian Declaration of Independence, some of our borders in the far north have not been delineated through international treaties. So we can actually have, looks like some sort of negotiation with Colombia. Let's see what they say. So Germany's at war with Italy. And the Germans want to force the People's Republic of Italy to dismantle the Italian Empire. I'm going to go ahead and refuse. I don't really want an alliance with Germany, especially since we're allied with the Brits. Okay. So I think Colombia gave us a little bit of terrain, or a little bit of territory up here. If I could see that properly. I think they gave us this. Peru wants access. They're at war with Peru allied Germany? Wow. Okay. Weird. Let's take a look at our factories. How we doing? Nope, we're doing fine. Peru, ambassadors have been banned. Damn it, the Germans are behind this one. Alright. So the Germans are not our friends. Not at all. So we're getting some rallies. People want political reforms. What are we doing here? Okay, so Argentina's still not really researching military tech all that much. So I think when we declare war on Argentina, we're gonna have some pretty decisive advantage. You know, let's take military directionism. These military techs are expensive, but because our literacy and research points is so good, I think we're actually gonna do just fine. All right, let's go move this army here. Let's move troops to the Argentinian and Bolivian border. Here's a Treaty of Rome. So now the Italian Empire is going to be dismantled. So let's just see what happens. There's a Tugunska event. Ooh, a meteor. What does Italy actually control? There's a Union of South Africa. It's so beautiful. Oh, God. I'm not actually sure the Italians control very much. As far as, like, imperial possessions, I don't see much at all. Spain's actually got a lot of territory there in East Asia. I think we can add Paraguay to our sphere of influence. There we go. So now, as you can see, Paraguay's in our sphere of influence. Excellent. We're losing some money, most likely because of these subsidies. Yeah, artillery factories, and we have one textile mill. Okay. Okay. We have a pandemic. We're going to fight the disease with every available means. Now, militant socialists rose up over here. It's actually going to increase this administration spending then, since it is costing us a little bit. We might have to get rid of some of those factories that are costing us in subsidies. They're fairly expensive. Let's see, we can influence Argentina and Ecuador. Ecuador we can actually add to our sphere now. So we have Paraguay and Ecuador in our sphere so far. I think things quickly will be changing. We are also paying a little bit of the war indemnity there. Tax efficiency is being increased though, so. Okay. Yeah, a river crossing, unfortunately. Alright. Let's see, Venezuela. You can add Venezuela to our sphere of influence. Okay. So now, let's for example, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Paraguay are in our sphere of influence now. So now I can take a look at trade, and I can come over here to common market. And you're going to see that not only our goods are in the common market, but goods that belong to, say, Paraguay or Venezuela, something like that, will also be included in this common market. For example, I'm not sure if I can really see it here. So for instance, here, let's take a look at wool, right? So I come over here to wool, I can click it, I can click it and go to the details. So our RGOs, our resource gathering operations, right, from our own domestic production, produce 25.78 wool. And yet, in our common market, we have 39.17 units available. That's likely because, or actually it probably is, because over here in Paraguay, they also produce wool, right? So we get access to their goods. Any goods that they don't use will go to our common market first, and then the rest of the world. That's what sphering countries can do for you. You know, it's very, very powerful. All right, we got troops over here. Okay. So as you can see, our military goods are quite expensive. Ooh, we're gonna go to Antarctica. Sweet. Okay. So let's get all of our military techs in order, and then we'll probably invade Argentina, I think. Let's go and lower this military maintenance real fast, because it's quite expensive. Very, very expensive. Yeah, the war indemnity is unfortunate, but I think we'll do okay. Let's see, Bolivia. I think the United States just banned our ambassadors. Damn it. So as soon as you get to friendly status and you get to 100 influence with somebody's country, you can actually ban. Stick a little real fast. Administrative efficiency. Okay, you can actually ban or you can remove a country from somebody's sphere of influence. So for instance, say Bolivia. Say we have friendly relations with Bolivia and 100 influence with Bolivia, we can actually remove them from the United States sphere of influence. So you can do that. We probably will do that at some point in the future. Wow, we have a lot of soldiers. Like, all over the place. Let's see, how many professional soldiers do we have in Brazil? 372,000. Holy crap. That's quite a bit. So as you can see, our luxury clothes factory is actually losing us quite a bit of money now. Because nobody's buying the goods. All right. So yeah, so some subsidies, cutting some subsidies to some countries may be in order. Let's take a look. What do we not need? Yeah, so we're losing quite a bit of money on small arms, as well as regular clothes, as well as glass. And even telephones. Nobody wants telephones. We're actually not doing too bad in artillery. And I don't think we produce any paper, but let's see. Yeah, so if we were to shift to some other goods, like right now, wine is in high demand, as well as luxury furniture. Let's see, shall we host a regional trade fair? A delegation representing the leading commercial manufacturing interests of our nation has proposed holding a regional trade fair. Yeah, sounds good. Peru's accusing us of things. Ooh, the regional trade fair is open. Cool. Looks like it was a success. Okay. So we're losing quite a bit of money now to small arms factories. So why don't we go ahead and close some? We won't actually have too many, but... And then what else are we subsidizing? Let's see, black shirts. Emerging fascist party in one of our states has formed a paramilitary corps organized with a military command chain. Alright, yeah, sure, why not? I don't really mind. I don't have a problem with fascism, so it's fine. Artillery factories are also expensive. Textile mills are pretty expensive. Let's go and find out where we're producing artillery real fast. So, some of the larger factories are really not very profitable. So let's get rid of some of the smaller ones. We'll keep the larger ones just because. But as you can see, some capitalists will want to build other types of factories now. So wineries, luxury furniture, you know, our capitalists are going to start to invest in those kinds of projects. Okay, the artillery factory in Bahia is actually pretty expensive too. A couple of textile mills, oil refineries. Let's close that down, and let's close that down. So now capitalists will go to invest in some other projects. They'll do some other things. Let's go Chile. So right now, we have enough influence with Chile to remove them from the American sphere of influence, which we're actually going to do. Yeah. Let's see if we can do the same thing, perhaps with a country like Argentina. I don't know. It is a possibility. So now it looks like luxury clothes. We're definitely not making any money off those. So let's come here to luxury clothes factories and let's close all these down. You know, we've been expanding those factories for a long time, but now they're just not worth it. So now we have like 100,000 people unemployed. Let's see. Argentina continues to hold on to some of our lands, land which until today has always been considered part of Brazilian national territory. Hell no. Little bastard. Little bastard, Argentina, you're not gonna take some land. Screw you, dude. Whoopsies. Split this army here, split that army there. Let's keep producing troops. Let's see, Venezuela wants an alliance. We're going to accept that because he is in our sphere now, so. Let's see, let's take a look. What else are we subsidizing? Clothes factory in Rio de Janeiro. Okay. So now, obviously, all of our unemployed workers are going to go to other factories. We're going to want to send them to other types of factories. Let's invest a little bit in these projects here, just to build some other factories that are our, again, anarcho-liberals, huh? Interesting. Let's see. Luxury furniture we can use, as well as another small arms factory, probably. Yeah, we just finished getting rid of a luxury clothes factory, so don't need that. Let's see, Bahia, we can use maybe a few more intellectuals. Okay, so let's take a look at migration here. So a lot of people are coming to our country as well as Argentina. So you can see that kind of the economy is a little bit different to kind of manage. It's a little difficult. Luxury clothes are once again in high demand. Interesting. Okay, so we're taking some debt now. We're actually taking debt from the German Empire. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, these subsidies are expensive for sure. Let's get rid of some of these factories here. The ones that are like stupid expensive. It's interesting because wine is actually in high demand. There's not enough supply, and yet our factories are not profitable. Very interesting. Yeah, we're taking quite a bit of debt. Maybe a small tariff. I think it's because this war indemnity. We're making a lot of, or we're still paying a lot of money from there. And we have a shit ton of unemployed workers, unfortunately. When does this war indemnity go away? I'm actually not sure. I think it's actually what's hurting us the most, actually, is a war indemnity. Possibly buying up goods? No, actually, we don't even need to fund the military anymore. Okay, so I'm trying to turn on a small tariff. Trying to turn on a very mild tariff. Well, 30% is not mild, but the thing is that money's just going to the indemnity, basically. About 20,000 pounds of debt right now. Alright, let's decrease military spending then. We gotta get expenses in order. We're at 100% literacy, so we're gonna turn down the educational spending. Still losing money. Yeah, it's probably just the war indemnity, I think. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We have a lot of unemployed workers, unfortunately. So let's try and see if we can find some work for them. We're not maintaining the military, like, at all. It's expensive. Venezuela's got some rebels. I think I'll take care of them, though. Okay. So when your interest is more than your than your income, you will declare bankruptcy. So right now we're not really in danger of declaring bankruptcy. It's just, it's something that could happen. A lot of people though, particularly communists, are becoming quite popular because we have a lot of unemployed people. So we should remedy that. I think I'm going to cut all subsidies for now. Let's see if I can get my economy in order a bit. Yeah. Chile would like an alliance, that's fine. So a lot of factories are going to close down now, at least the ones that are unprofitable. But that's going to get... Yeah, we have a lot of unemployed craftsmen, holy crap. So as you guys can see, funding the industry... It works in the early game, in the early industrial period, but later on it becomes a little more painful. Just because... And just because it gets expensive, especially with things like efficiency and things like that. So now, really, what's the smartest thing to do is you just let the capitalists kind of do their thing. We are still technically state capitalists, though. So once we have some money, we would preferably like to reopen these factories, keep subsidizing them, because our industrial score is going to drop rapidly. Which we don't want. You know, you don't want that to happen. So now, only really the factories that are profitable are the ones that will stay open. In the meantime, we do have a lot of soldiers on the way, which is cool. We're going to be invading Argentina pretty soon. Okay, we're getting more prestige, which is awesome. And as you can see, some of these capitalists actually want to invest in some projects, do some different stuff. Let's see if we can pay off this debt as soon as we have just a little bit of money. Once this war indemnity is gone, we'll be looking a little better. I think it's 5 years for a war indemnity, I believe. It's 25% of your income for 5 years. So... Okay, let's go to assembly line. Preferably, we could decrease taxes on the middle class or the rich to get them to invest in stuff. Let's see, fascist welfare. We're actually going to go ahead and agree to that. We can do something to Chile. I think I can add them to my sphere. Yep. So we can add Chile into the sphere of influence. We're still going to work on Bolivia and Argentina and Colombia. But we're not doing too bad now. Okay. Come over here. All right. So it takes some finesse. Take some finesse. Take some patience. Okay, looks like some of these capitalists are trying to reopen some stuff. That's cool. A lot of our people actually don't have any savings because there's no money in the national bank, which is not great. That's why you always want to try and not tax your classes so much. So if you can have savings in the national bank, it shows you that they have more money than they need. Right now, that is not the case, unfortunately. Let's go and turn up, I think, educational spending back up all the way. We just want that to be pretty high. Some of our people are moving away towards the United States because of our unemployment. We'll see if we can remedy that pretty soon. Perhaps also by making our factories more efficient, we'll be able to employ more people. The capitalists will be more inclined to build factories, which I think is actually happening right now. As you guys can see, some of these capitalists are actually investing money in these projects to reopen some of these luxury clothes factories. We don't want anti-military policy. Argentina. So he's friendly. So as soon as we have enough... Oh, there's that war indemnity. That war indemnity's gone. Cool. Excellent. All right. Okay. Okay, so we're making some money now. That's good. Let's go for full citizenship. Who's gonna win this this election? Looks like the Conservatives quite decisively. So let's reopen our factories and let's start subsidizing stuff again. The subsidies are going to be a little expensive for now, but I think we're going to do okay. We don't have any tariff. Administrative spending and military spending are down. But now we have people being employed again. And we can also... Nope. We can also actually fund some new projects on behalf of the capitalists. Build some liquor distilleries, build some wineries. Excellent. We have economic activity happening once again. We have 42 factories near the employed limit. And our industrial score will now rise rapidly once again. We're going to go ahead and attend the 5th Olympic Games. All right. Good stuff. Okay. I think it's going to be time for a war with Argentina. We're allied with Peru and Bolivia, and we're going to be invading Argentina. We have quite the military tech advantage against them, so I think we're going to be just fine. We have an acquired core CB as well as a humiliate CB on him, so we're going to take a quick break here, then we will raise military maintenance and declare the war. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching as always. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I do hope you guys are enjoying this tutorial series, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much.